Good afternoon, everybody. This is Bob Iacino from Path Trading Partners, along with my partner, Mike Arnold. It is April 3rd, PM Path Chat covering the futures markets. Mike's going to cover the usual, the Dow Transports, S&P, NASDAQ, crude oil, copper, gold, and silver. Nothing really that interesting. The equities had a pretty large sell-off. I shouldn't even say that, relatively large. The media likes to call it large. It was triple digits in the Dow, but it came back pretty strongly, ending up marginally lower. NASDAQ made a record high before it fell off. Most of the fall was on these weak auto sales numbers that came out. Ford down 7%. GM's numbers were last week. A miss for the overall industry. They were expected to sell 1.62 million automobiles. They sold 1.56. So when you put that in the context of the lower GDP estimates that we've talked about, and it brings about very quickly a much bleaker look for the economy as the Fed just tightened. So the markets will not like if the Fed actually tightened into a weakening economy. But non-farm payrolls this week, that'll matter a lot more than what happened today. But on a price action basis, everything matters. So let me turn it over to Mike so he can tell you what mattered today. Mikey, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob. Start off with the transports. Transports outside day to day, meaning lower low and higher high than the prior day. Really big on the sand. Above today's high, 91.6707. If we get through there, looking for 92.13, followed by 92.57. If we continue to pull back, today's low area around 90.86, we have dual lows there, is going to be key. And if those are broken, watch for 90.24 area. We have a significant level and a key gain level. And once that is broken, we're looking really for a pullback to the 89.83 level. Let's switch over to the industrial average. You can see Bob referenced this when he was talking. It sold off pretty big early in the day and then rallied back, sold off all the way down to the 50-period exponential moving average, broke below our trend line, but ended up back above it. We now have a new declining trend line, an upper trend line. If we rally tomorrow, watch for 20,700 to 20,710 area, lots of resistance up there. If and when we break that, 20,755, 20,776, and 20,794, all key resistance areas before we come into another declining trend line. If we turn lower again tomorrow, key support, 20,568, then a retest of the 50 and the lows, 20,515, and once all that is broken, next major level is 20,416, 20,400. Switching over to the S&P contract, and specifically the E-mini. Big wide range bar also in this contract. Not an outside bar though. Ran all the way down, tested the GAN static rotation zone and moved back up. Very key off those levels. If we rally tomorrow, resistance areas 2363 followed by 2366 and then some significance at 2369. If we finally get above there, we have a declining trend line right around 2374. Those are your key levels higher. If we pull back, again, we are watching for 2345 as support, 2342, and then all the way down to 2337, where we have the bottom of the static rotation zone on a GAN basis and a rising but sort of flattening 50-period exponential moving average. And over to the NASDAQ, as Bob already mentioned, we made a new high in the NASDAQ, then pulled back between the dynamic rotation zone on our key moving averages. We also pulled back exactly to the 37.5% GAN level. So turning higher tomorrow, if we do, watch for 54.52 to 54.53. then a retest of the 54.55 highs set today. If those are broken, we're watching for 54.71 followed by 54.91. If we pull back, very, very key level, 54.16 to 54.17, followed by a possible move down to 54.01, then very key support, 53.95. If all that's broken, next support zone down is 53.85 to 53.80. Switch over to crude. Inside bar today so far, this is in that new session for starting to trade Globex. Inside bar today, no new highs in crude. So we have some key levels breaking below the lows today, set at 50.12. We then looked for 49.80 to 49.70 possible support. If that does not hold, 49.56 to 49.50. And then if all that is broken, next key support's at 49.30. On a rally tomorrow, major resistance, 50.69 to 50.76, followed by 50.85. If that's broken, we're watching for a rally to 51.25. Finally, let's switch over to metals. In the metals, big down move today, but we're still in this horizontal channel and on a larger time frame, a triangle forming. So if we continue to sell off tomorrow, 259.48 is going to be key, followed by 259.06 to 258.92. If all that's broken, we're watching for 257.79, followed by a retest of this prior key low at 255.85. Rallying back up tomorrow, if we do, 261.59, followed by 262.44, followed by 263.55, and on a very large rally, watch for a 265.18. Switching over to gold. Gold tested this key significant level today and then rallied back up, which you see here. We talked about the significance at the 1247 area. Then we ended up today roughly at the 1255.40. After hours, we're rallying up slightly. If we continue to rally to 1261, very key, 1261.60, flat 200. We get through that, 1265.50, followed by 1269.50. On a pullback, key support, 1252.70, followed by then this rising rotation zone, 1250.70, and a significant level at 1246.80, and the bottom then of that rotation zone, 1241.70, but we may find some support at 1244.20 prior to that. Finally, silver. Retesting highs from last week right now. If we rally through that, watching for areas of resistance at 1842 to 1846, then next scan projection level up 1850. If we do pull back, support coming in at 1825, followed by then possibly falling back down to 1817, and then the rotation zone coming in at 1813. And then we have a lot of key lows in here from 1805 to 1809. So there's a lot of support down here with the rising dynamic rotation zone. That's all we have for you. I'm turning it back over to you, Bob.
Thanks, Mike. Expect to see volatility tone down as we get closer and closer to Friday's non-farm payrolls number. We will be back tomorrow morning with FX, stocks, and anything else that moves. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for watching.